I don't know where one gets
With
that.
inflatable poop emojis. I don't know what occasion you would want that for.
And that mosh pit was crazy. It's like Queer Eye for the Space Guy. A 7,400-degree surface temp? Constant volcanic eruptions? I don't think so, honey. By season 2, it's all Ivy League schools, hipster coffee bars, and a Trader Joe's on every corner. I'll flash them.
I was never more glad that we were kind of up on that balcony because you could take in all the toilet paper throwing and
It's
the
crazy.
the guy with the grand poobah hat who was kind of conducting with the toilet brush. I consider people that are so afraid of growing old, they can't even say the word. I'm 37 years young tomorrow. Sounds like you're 36 and a half years completely insane to me.
Yeah.
If that's true, I'm 22 years broke and 31 antisocial, just for the record. Gary Busey, that's a man who is not wearing a face. He is wearing a costume made of other faces. That's not Gary. That's Glork from Sexter 9, trying to blend in. He downloaded human behavior on LimeWire in 2003 and just went with it.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
We're back, and we survived MDF yet again.
Even despite more shirt weirdness this year. This year, they teased the shirts, kept saying coming soon, because last year we ordered them in advance and picked them up.
Right.
This year, they never let you order them in advance. We bought them at the pre-fest that we went to, and by day 2, it said sold out.
Want to show me your shirt?
Yeah, I've got mine back here. Since it was the 20th Deathfest, I went with the XX. Too big.
And you got yours back.
And
There it is. All the logos.
there's all that. So we had a great time. We saw a number of amazing sets. And
Incantation was great. They're always great. I didn't realize that it was Chuck, the bass player, plays everything with his fingers.
Yeah.
Really cool. They're still playing a lot of that new album.
How about Benediction? They had a great set, and they also had I want to guess it was a child, maybe 10, 11, 12 years old, off to the side stage, but he was in full view, absolutely losing his mind. Air guitar, drumming.
He was really into it.
He was really dancing.
It was adorable. Yeah, that was Benediction. Yeah. Wednesday night, I really liked Corpus of Foul. I thought they kicked things off really well. Just that real ugly, scrunky, dude death metal. It's just great. And their merch was going like that. I mean, those shirts didn't last at all.
We missed out on that. And Chained to the Bottom of the Ocean, I also saw it put on a fantastic set.
Really, really good. Even though the singer was dressed like he was going to change your oil after this concert was over. Yeah, it was not very rock and roll looking, but boy, they sounded great.
Yeah.
You know who really was rock and roll looking though was Martin Van Drunen from Asphyx, right? We watched him from the upper level, and it was out. He's so skinny. He's got that long hair or the long gray hair, and it just occurred to me. I was like, wow, this genre, it ages gracefully. It does. Like Decay fits it well, and he sounded fantastic. And how about Scearce?
Wow. They blew the roof off that
They had
backstage.
Scearce they gave them the slot across the street between Incantation and Nile. That's a tough slot, right? But boy, they were amazing.
Everybody packed in there. Some people must have stayed to watch the end of Incantation, but by the first song, everyone was packed in there.
Yeah.
Their lead singer looks
his
a little
voice like overpowers the drums. It's
he
really
looks a little bit like Jason Mimosa, and he does that seed thing at the crowd, like he might dive in and rip somebody's head off at any moment.
Yeah.
We don't know. And Drew was doing his backup vocals and playing away.
Yeah, and
Really good.
both guitar players were great for Scearce. Yeah, they're one of my favorite new bands.
We did snag 2 Scearce shirts.
Yes, we did.
Oh.
There's one. I finally got that logo. So
yeah, much fun had. Nile was
can't
fantastic.
say that we saw Nile.
Was fantastic.
Psy had some of the kiddos on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in corpse paint. Yeah.
Playing bongos.
Playing bongos and stuff. It was wild. And then I guess the last thing we'll mention is we were not aware of the phenomenon that is Gutalax.
Yeah, we were totally caught off guard. We briefly looked them up and saw that they had songs about poop.
Yeah.
Had no idea what we were in for. It was
All of a sudden, we started seeing people in hazmat suits all around us, right? Then there was a guy who had on he had on an inflatable toilet that was like a life preserver thing,
yeah.
you know?
And
I
then
don't know where one gets
with
that.
inflatable poop emojis. I don't know what occasion you would want that for.
And that mosh pit was crazy. So
I,
here's some pictures of us from the event. I'll flash them.
I was never more glad that we were kind of up on that balcony because you could take in all the toilet paper throwing and
It's crazy.
the guy with the grand poobah hat who was kind of conducting with the toilet brush.
Yes, it's three guys, right? And the two guys that sing, they all wear the hazmat suits, and the one guy wears goggles. They look like the minions to me. So
And he
plus they've
sounded
got
a
that-
little like Gru.
They're from Czech Republic, so they've got that accent. So it was very Despicable Me adjacent, as far as I could tell. So
People were nuts. There was
they're one of those. They're an Instagram sensation. They really are. So
someone was trying to get them to sign their toilet seat.
uh,
They had a toilet seat and a Sharpie
yeah,
in the
just
front
when
row.
you think you've seen it all. So anyway, yeah. So another MDF is in the books. Shirts purchased. Friends met. We even saw Ross from Impaled
Yeah.
and not from Ghoul, and shook his hand briefly. It was nice.
I may or may not have tackled him.
Yeah.
And yeah,
John from Incantation talked to us for a while.
yeah, it was a great time.
We did say hi to Drew.
Lots of
um,
friends seen.
We avoided people we didn't want to see, which is harder than you think.
And we made friends in the garage when we would go up to the garage for shots, because the alcohol prices up there are just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it was a great vantage point. Everybody said it was the best seat in the house. Although I did like to go down for the second half of the set to
It
kind of get the
sounded
feel.
better when you were down,
Yeah.
but it looked
But
better
you
when you
could
were
get
up
the
top.
whole.
And so,
thing
yeah,
going on.
head over to our Instagram. We streamed everything. So let's talk about space aliens.
That's a jump. I never saw the appeal of UFO sighting documentaries. The stuff absolutely bores me to tears. It's always a series of mysterious lights were seen in the woods, or a circular shaped object hovered silently in the sky. Spoiler alert, that's either swamp gas, a lost drone, or someone on an acid trip trying to catch fireflies. And why is it always a saucer?
Yeah, if these beings are so advanced that they crossed multiple galaxies to get here, don't you think they've evolved beyond the saucer design? Saucers, really? Like we've got Teslas and stealth bombers, and they're showing up in dinnerware. Also, these sightings always seem to happen in places where people are all by themselves and the lighting is very poor. Oh, I saw bright lights, and then I lost track of time, and later my ass hurt. Yeah, dude, that's called Fireball Whiskey, Daylight Savings, and Dollar Taco Night.
But you know who I would believe is an alien? Joey Chestnut. This man eats 60 hot dogs in 12 minutes. No gag reflex, no shame, no way he's from Earth. That's an intergalactic meat processing unit. Gary Busey? That's a man who is not wearing a face. He is wearing a costume made of other faces. That's not Gary. That's Glark from Sexter 9, trying to blend in. He downloaded human behavior on LimeWire in 2003 and just went with it.
Also, certain porn stars. That's not talent, that's interdimensional jaw technology. Her larynx is held together with plutonium hinges, I'm convinced. You're like, that's never going to fit in her. Oh, yes, it did. Wow, I stand corrected.
If I ever met a space alien, I don't think I'd ask about world peace or advanced technology. I'd ask the important stuff, like, hey, do your weathermen suck as much as ours do? Partly cloudy with its chance of supersonic plasma wind? He didn't say anything about magnetic tornadoes, did he? Damn it! Of course, I'm standing out here dressed for a light dust storm, and Venus decides to throw a full-blown lava tantrum. Now I'll never get to work on time.
If aliens ever do show up, we are so screwed. Nobody travels millions of light years just to say hello. I mean, I know people who wouldn't even drive from Delaware for that. Well, my ex's parents would. They'd do it just to irritate me. Surprise, we're here.
And just once, I want to hear about a casual alien weather update. Expect highs of 1200 degrees on Jupiter today. Make sure you bring your SPF 9000 and a rehydration pod. Meanwhile, on Earth, I'm over here yelling at the Doppler radar because it didn't warn me about a surprise hailstorm. You don't fly past black holes and asteroid fields just to try Earth pizza. Duh, there's an agenda. They're here to steal something. Our water, our gold, maybe our guinea pigs. I mean, what if they're just running some shady intergalactic guinea pig races? Off track betting on Chunky Sparkle versus Turbo Whiskers.
Hey, it's still an addiction, no matter what galaxy you gamble in. So I wonder, these aliens that have like a collective mind where they're all hooked together, I wonder, are they just like being stuck in an eternal group chat that they can never leave? Is it like, who's bringing Uncle Frank to the invasion? I did it last year. It's Lothar's turn. Ugh, Lepidian armor makes me look fat. My boss keeps staring at my enlarged cranium. I feel judged. It's called genetic superiority, Steve.
I wonder if they have public transportation on other planets. Man, I hate taking the commuter capsule. There's always a couple of sleazy Ipithesians trying to sell me antenna cream.
Try to strike up a conversation with a Ganymede, and they just roll all four sets of eyes at you. And is it me, or do the Uranians always leave the capsule smelling like Limburger and antimatter? You know what we should do with some of these uninhabitable planets? Send a squadron of gay astronauts to fix up the place. Like full makeover mission universe edition. Operation from Hellscape to Hout.
I mean, look what happened to Rehoboth. One minute it's a sleepy beach town. The next thing you know, there's pastel shutters, bicycle lanes, and charming nautical themes.
It's like Queer Eye for the Space Guy. A 7,400-degree surface temp? Constant volcanic eruptions? I don't think so, honey. By season 2, it's all Ivy League schools, hipster coffee bars, and a Trader Joe's on every corner. Okay, we'll talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with Chris Scearce and Mark Sugar of the Chicago-based death metal band Bear Mace. We have a super interesting chat with them about everything from choosing their moniker to the recording of their fantastic new album, Slaves of the Wolf. We cover everything from serial killers and war documentaries, and there's even a bit of a trouble geek out, so stay tuned for that. Let's play a song. This is The Iceman Cometh.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth and for $6.66 a month, you get an indescribable clown car full of Mark and Stace every week.
Our Patreons get exclusive content just for them. We have everything from book and music reviews to cooking tips to even exercise tips. I even share some of my secret recipes with you. So
I'm ready to review the Van Halen book. I finished it this week, the one called Brothers. And there's something in that book that is absolutely shocking. And I am going to share it on Patreon. So I was floored. You'll just have to get over there and check it out. We've got tons of music reviews, book reviews, recipe tips, workout tips. If you want to get a little bit better, clearer picture of the life of Mark and Stace, just head over to Patreon and check it out.
And remember, in supporting us, you help us support the underground music scene that we promote.
Don't forget to go over and check us out, our other show on YouTube, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. And then that way you'll have a dose of Mark and Stace every week. And I just threw up my mouth a little bit because it's time. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay.
All right, we'll see how you do.
Yeah, because I destroyed Stace last week.
Horrible.
I spent an hour and a
Horrible.
half on the questions last week. No.
Not
Anyway.
spent as long on these.
No. Okay.
Where was the first Hawaiian pizza equally loved and hated? That's the one topped with pineapple and ham created. Is it A, Maui, B, California, C, New York, or D, Ontario?
Because it's so weird, I'm going to say B, California.
It's actually D, Ontario.
Like that should have gone for that.
It was a Greek
What's
restaurant.
Canadians doing making pizza? That figures.
It was a Greek entrepreneur who had moved to Ontario, and somehow they offended all Italians everywhere by putting
Yeah.
pineapple.
Not a fan.
My son Rob loves that for some
It's a
reason.
love it or hate it kind of thing. You know.
When they all lived here and we would get pizza, I would have to get a Hawaiian pizza for him and something else. For me and
There's
Kurt.
always a guy at the office that you got to get the Hawaiian pizza for, always. And then he eats 2 slices. And then, you know. Okay, so far 0 for 1.
All right. What is a giant groups of pugs called? And I do mean the dogs.
Okay.
A stout, B, a snort, C, a grumble, or D, a chortle.
A group of pugs.
My aunt has a very bad. Well,
Yeah.
she's had 2 really. They're a little bit crazy. I think all of them are.
I'm going to go a stout.
It's C, a grumble, because when they get together, they make these little piggy noises to each other and they grumble, grumble.
They call it a grumble.
Do.
It
Really
could have been
hard.
any of those. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
that was pretty hard. What United States president had a pet alligator that he kept in a White House bathtub? Was it A, Theodore Roosevelt, B, Herbert Hoover, C, John Quincy Adams, or D, Thomas Jefferson?
Well, there's only one that I can think of that had jungle travels, so I'll say A, Theodore Roosevelt.
No, but he did have 2 tiger cubs that they
That must be what I'm
presidential
thinking
pet that he wanted to keep at the White House. They managed to get him to give him to a zoo. It was John Quincy Adams.
Wow.
And he kept it in the bathtub, and it would scare people who came there and walked in. He used to love to trick people into walking into this bathroom. This is also kind of a trick question because Herbert Hoover also had an alligator. He just didn't keep it in the bathtub, but he did have it on the grounds. Apparently,
Yeah.
they would be like he was given this by the war hero Lafayette. So I guess people are always giving presidents exotic gifts. There's a whole host of crazy pets that they've had over the years in the White House. But yeah.
And so far, I'm cruising right along. Okay, let's close it up.
All right. How much does the heart of a blue whale weigh? Is it A, 50 pounds, B, 140 pounds, C, 400 pounds, or D, 650 pounds?
I'm just gonna say D 650.
It's C, 400.
Ah, 0 for 4. Wow,
Those are some
that's
tough
a
ones.
big fish.
Those are some tough ones.
That's a big fish. Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to get a stethoscope on that? It would be like, ah.
Okay, this has been Obnoxious Trivia. Mark sucks. Back in the basement again. Well, it's time for our Snaggletoon, and I'll let Stace kick this one off.
This is Snaggletooth's Guide to the English Language, because why wouldn't you want that? The strangeness of some expressions. Take actors. Evidently, they are so superstitious that wishing them good luck is frowned upon. Instead, you say, break a leg, as not to jinx them.
Yeah, nowhere else in life do we wish someone bodily harm as encouragement. Maybe we should up the ante for the modern era. The next time your acting friend sneezes, respond with, enjoy the Black Plague. Or, a pox on your pancreas, my good man. If you want someone to have a safe trip, you say bon voyage, not don't hit an iceberg, wink, wink.
Consider people that are so afraid of growing old, they can't even say the word. I'm 37 years young tomorrow. Sounds like you're 36 and a half years completely insane to me.
Yeah.
If that's true, I'm 22 years broke and 31 antisocial, just for the record.
Even the post-sneeze expression, God bless you, is kind of strange. Do we really need a divine intervention for a little pollen? Unless there's a god of Flonase, I think just a tissue will do. You don't need to break out the holy water and start quoting Deuteronomy. Cursed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl.
And what do people mean when they say a square meal? Ever meet someone looking at the bright side of prison? Well, at least you get 3 squares and 4 walls. Yeah, I'll take whatever shape freedom is. Thank you very much.
And why are we getting all Pickwick papers about the whole thing? Square meal, square deal, square mile, square dancer. Look, if you haven't tried the trapezoid toast or the isosceles fruit cup, you're letting the best in life pass you by. And then there's the proof is in the pudding. What kind of chaotic dessert-based detective system are we working with here? Why pudding? Is there courtroom custard? What about a cross-examination eclair?
Why can't the proof be part of something more solid, like pie or stew? Or maybe those overnight oats with chia seeds that scream, I have my life together. Actually, no. You want proof? Check that lasagna in the back of the freezer. It's old enough to verify ancient scrolls and testify in court.
Another Chaucer-esque term when someone mentions reading the tea leaves. Surely there must be something more interesting to read laying around the house. A Reader's Digest, the back of a cereal box, an old Hustler, but tea leaves? I guess I'll see what headlines are in tomorrow's coffee grounds and get back to you. How about honesty is the best policy? Whoever came up with that little gem never had their wife ask, do I look fat in this? You better check your policy manual on divorce lawyer costs before answering that one, Chuckles.
People always say, I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, but how long is a jiffy exactly? Is that like an official unit of time? Is there a scientist somewhere in a lab with a stopwatch like, yep, that was 1.21 jiffies, textbook by my jiffy certified egg timer? I mean, is a jiffy longer or shorter than a hot minute?
And is a hot minute longer than a New York minute? Is it the same as a nanosecond? How long is a flash? How long is a fortnight? I'm just confusing myself at this point. I think I need some sleep and maybe a conversion chart.
Why do we say break the ice when we just meet someone new? Are we imagining taking an ice pick to that awkward frozen moment of silence? Just chipping away at the glacier between us, like, hi, I'm socially terrified, but I brought a chisel. Not sure about you, but the last frozen Cro-Magnon man I encountered during my trip to Antarctica, well, he didn't seem concerned with pleasant greetings.
Okay, I can't take any more. This is Cancerous Winds by Bear Mace. Okay, let's talk about imperfect foods, and we have an important announcement.
Yes, they are offering a new limited time promotion. You can get $50 off your first order of groceries. Everybody needs to eat. And they have some really neat, fantastic things over at Imperfect. No need to wait in line or get behind some old lady writing a check or forgetting your reusable shopping bags or that annoying checker that always has to strike up a conversation with you. Delivered to your door, put it away. You never have to leave the house.
We love their cheeses. We love their snacks. We love their, we had some of their steak today, didn't we?
Yes.
That was from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was delish.
Yep.
Foods are always high quality, though, and the portion sizes are very agreeable for us.
We get eggs, butter from them. You can get you could even get a seltzer. You can get wine from them now. Spices. I love their sauces. They have some neat stuff that you can't find in the store. I have up there some kind of special barbecue sauce and a stir fry shortcut. You know, it's everything we try from them is amazing.
Try finding ground elk meat in the grocery store. Good luck with that one. Yeah.
Or a teeny tiny chicken just for 2 people.
Yep.
They've got it all. And right now, remember, click our link. It will save you $50 off your groceries this
You
week.
need to get on that. Okay, and now it's time for Bombastic Plastic.
Bombastic.
Bombastic!
This week we're going to go with no, that's not from Horton Hears a Who. It is the Sulfur Aeon 2018 album, The Scythe of Cosmic Chaos. I call this review Discanting the Lovecraftian. Now, if you asked me to name 5 German death metal bands, I doubt I could get past Necrophagus, Morgoth, and these guys. It's just a region I always associate with thrash and maybe weird black metal like Freiheit or the Ruins of Beverus for some reason. But it's hard not to get caught up in the titanic sound of Sulfur Aeon. Every album is a full-on experience, sucking your sorry ass off the couch, beer in hand, to their alternate universe of gloomy, spacey, wordy, Maximus Lovecraftian metal. All in all, it's a nice place to visit, but it might take some time for you to get your bearings.
Master of atmospherics. Sulfur Aeon have a knack for using their speed in unique ways to expand the vastness of their sound. There are very few moments on this 51+ minute monster where everyone is playing fast. That seems like an inefficient use of time in Sulfur Aeonville, where drummer Daniel Dickman, the guy probably eats Meshuggah records for breakfast, tears out of the blocks with ludicrous speed on multiple occasions. But guitars are usually chiming away, sending their ringing messages into outer space. At other times, guitars move at wrist-snapping speed, but Dickman slyly slows pace, resulting in a sound bigger than the state of Montana. Let's play a song. This is Lungs into Gills.
For the unfamiliar, there's a lot to the Scythe of Cosmic Chaos. Wailing guitars that harmonize, crunch, churn, and chime, sometimes together. Martin's wide range of vocals, lots of clean variations, interwoven with deathly rasps and grandiose swoons. Even some low-end synth tones swim to the surface from time to time. A lot of people like to lump these guys in with Behemoth, but I've never heard Behemoth craft twin leads as majestic as something like The Summoning of Naharlathep. Try dropping that little title on your local DJ at your next soiree.
I typically hate geeky prog song titles like these, and I don't really like clean vocals in death metal. But some of this is really spectacular, like the huge chiming tones of Lungs into Gills, some gorgeous guitar tones and incredible percussion in that one, the simple charm of that chorus, la 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 la, the combination of melodic sophistication and primal metal in Ugothian Spell. Almost too heady to enjoy on the first couple listens, but after a while, there's no resisting it. Not sure if this one is better than their last two records. They're all kind of like this. But fans of more extravagant death metal like newer Immolation and maybe Nile will feel right at home in this universe. A pricey pickup as usual, but the digipack is magnificent. Let's play a song. This is Ugothian Spell.
Okay, want to choose the interview?
Well, this was a long time coming. You actually had a shirt on from back in the day.
Yeah.
Bear Mace, he's an OG fan.
Oh, yeah.
Loved getting to hear more about this album and all the crazy imagery, serial killers. They have it all.
I actually have a copy of their first EP, Butchering the Colossus, upstairs. Never been unwrapped. And he told me after the interview that that's quite the collector's item. So maybe we'll feature it on the show.
Maybe we'll unwrap it.
We'll do an unwrapping. Yeah. So anyway, check this out. So tell me about the name Bear Mace.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we came up with the name. Originally, I was going to call the band Blood Eagle.
Okay.
And yeah, somehow we got to talking about Bear Mace, and Mark said, "Hey, that'd be a great name for a band." And we researched it and made sure there weren't other bands with that name.
Yeah.
And then, 3 months later, a band turned up with that name. But we
That's
ended
really
up, it's our name. I mean, you Google anything, our band comes up. So they're gone.
Yeah,
now.
like I said, I love it. It makes me think of nature. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you find that different projects pull from different parts of your brain, or do they all start with the same riff and then just kind of mutate in different directions?
Speaking for myself, when I'm working on different stuff, it's pretty clear what's going where. I'm in another project called Black Sites that sounds nothing like this. It's more of a prog rock thing almost, or 70s rock. So if I have a riff, it's pretty clear where it's gonna go, which band it's for. So unless it's for neither. But
I was going to ask you about that. Do you ever come up with something and you can't fit it into any of your projects? I mean,
well, then it's time to start a new band.
Right.
There
There's
you
some
go.
other potential projects down the road, not anytime soon, but there's a couple folders of stuff that I'm not quite sure what to do with yet. So we'll see.
So yeah, we were talking to this one gentleman who was in a thrash band and a rock and roll project, and he was saying that rock and roll for him was harder to write than the thrash stuff.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree with that?
I could see that. Just because rock and roll's been around for so long, I would imagine it'd be difficult to come up with anything original that
Yeah.
felt fresh to you,
Yeah.
depending on whether that even matters to you or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find both of them challenging to write. It's just a different mindset for each, but it's all challenging.
Yeah. I would feel like, what's the point? We'll never beat the first four Danzig albums anyway. So why bother trying, you know? So,
First three.
well, four's good too. Four's good. Just not five. Not five.
No, we can agree on five.
Yeah.
Five songs.
So for the recording of this album, Slaves of the Wolf, is there any changes in gear, production approach, or how the band collaborated, or anything that really stood out?
So it was a little more collaborative this time as far as the writing.
Yeah.
Our bass player John brought in a song on his own this time. On the last few records, I was writing the music pretty much on my own. And we recorded all of it ourselves this time. A lot of the last record was done in studios. And this one, again, John, our bassist, helped us get some gear together to record on our own. So all the guitars were tracked in this room, all the vocals were tracked in this room, drums were done in a studio, but we had a lot more control over the process. And for better or for worse, what you hear on the record is what
Oh, I think it's for better. It sounded great. Yeah. Turned out really good.
So I like how there's a little bit of horror, with the werewolf. Who do you think
Yeah.
in the band would be dead in the first 5 minutes of a horror film, and who would make it all the way to the end?
I wouldn't last a minute.
Yeah, I think pretty much all of us would probably be taken out pretty quick.
It'd be a very short movie.
Yeah.
Gary might make it.
Yeah, Gary might make it. Yeah.
He's indestructible. Our drummer.
Yeah.
You see, with a name like Bear Mace, I thought you were all rugged outdoorsmen. It's just, that was my.
This is Chicago, man. You don't want to be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
So I had kind of some specific track questions. The Iceman comet that just absolutely hits like a cinder block to the skull. What
Yeah.
drew you to Richard Kalinsky as a lyrical subject?
Well, I was watching HBO had a documentary on him when they talked to him in prison.
Yeah.
And he was describing how many different ways he had killed people. And I don't know. The guy had like the deadest eyes I've ever seen in a human. Like he would kill you without even a thought if somebody paid him or whatever. But everything, all of the ways of death that I wrote in the lyrics, he actually did on people. Like he shot a guy in the eye with a crossbow, shot a guy in the throat with a bullet, with a gun just to see, sprayed a guy with cyanide in the face. So he's a fun guy.
Well, in the video, you capture a lot of that in the video too. I mean, I can't believe YouTube didn't the algorithm didn't go bananas on that. I mean, it's turned out great.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun to make, and it has a real grindhouse feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
All of the murders look like they're being filmed on a VHS in the basement.
Yeah. Like retro. Yeah.
Yeah, real retro.
Yeah.
So how did you pick whose turn it was to be the victim, and what did you use for blood splatter?
We just I think, I don't know. We just kind of
flip coins for it.
gravitated towards, Mark was like, I think I should be the one to catch the crossbow.
So on the first demo, the first album where we were using the fake name still,
Mhm.
my stage name was Crossbow Death.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta be the
okay.
guy
So
who
you
gets
got to
hit
be
with
the guy
crossbow.
who catches the crossbow.
And that is the most low budget looking kill in the whole video.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
I love when the crossbow comes creeping into the screen. That's like a CGI crossbow.
Did you have like a director, or did you guys just do it on your
Yeah,
own?
a guy named Vito Marquez.
Okay.
He's in a band with Gary called November's Doom.
Oh, I
And
know that band. Yeah.
he films videos. He's done videos for other bands.
Yeah, he's great.
And yeah, he's great. We went down to his basement and filmed a bunch of murders.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's great.
Killed each
Did
other.
you have
Yeah.
anything accidental happen that actually was a good thing and you're like, leave it in?
I don't know. All that,
Yeah,
all that was pretty premeditated. I think.
yeah, but it all worked out great. Like
It came together very quickly.
yeah, it did. Yeah, it only took us like 6 hours or something.
That's great.
Did you make your own blood or did you buy it?
I believe
bought
he
it.
bought it. Yeah, I think he got it from Amazon actually.
Yeah.
Our
There you go.
props budget was,
Yeah,
I think, $30,
$30, yeah,
35.
something like that.
There's
Yeah,
like, there was a toy gun, there was
Yeah.
a spray bottle, and there was like a jug of fake blood.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
and a
that's
bunch
pretty
of
much it.
cutting tools that he already had for his lawn.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah.
Sprinkle
did you-
blood on
did you-
there.
Did you think about other serial killers? I mean, were there other ones you considered besides
Are there ones that may be on upcoming
or
projects?
upcoming? Yeah.
So the problem with that is there's this other band from Chicago called Macabre.
Mm.
Uh,
Who
I
we
know them, yeah.
toured
who
with.
we toured with, but they have the monopoly on serial killers here. They got
Yeah.
Fish,
They
Yeah.
kind of do. Yeah.
Dahmer.
And they've been
We
doing it
even
since
have
the
a song
beginning.
called Iceman that is, about
Yeah.
Kuklinski.
Yeah.
But I saw a documentary and I was like, oh yeah, we got to do a
Yeah.
song. And then Mark hits me with this, super fast, just like the perfect riff for
Yeah.
yelling about murder.
Did any of like the stuff you saw in the documentary like get under your skin and make you have like a nightmare later? Or are you pretty impervious to such things?
I'm pretty impervious to such things. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I like horror films. I'm numb to horror films, and yeah, I just thought he was a fascinating person. That someone that could just turn off their humanity so easily.
Yeah, and he would say that he had mob connections. I mean, what the perfect
Yeah.
hitman would he be, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not the last guy you want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I'm like the worst person to watch horror movies with because if I don't like the acting, I just start yelling. I'll be like, she's
Yeah.
terrible. She's under the bed. Get her.
Yeah.
She's in the closet. Let's end the suffering for all of us.
Yeah, I do generally tend to root for the serial killer.
Mhm.
So when you're building a solo like the one in Iceman Cometh, are you consciously thinking, all right, beginning, middle, and end? Or does it just kind of evolve that way?
In the context of this band, I'm usually thinking of like the founding fathers of this genre and like the early albums. So you have like Chuck Schuldiner, you have Bill Steer from Carcass, you have Rick Ross, who was in Massacre. And a lot of that stuff is very unstructured. It's kind of all over the
Yeah.
place, a lot of dive bombs, a lot of squealy noises.
Yeah.
Very chaotic. I'm also not all that much of a lead guitarist anyway, so I kind of lean into that. Tommy, the other guy, is a fantastic lead player, so we kind of play off that. The song you're describing is actually he and I trading off.
Yeah.
So I didn't compose it, but I thought it was like, oh, it's kind of like, it's fast. It's kind of like Slayer. We should do the Hanneman King thing.
Yeah.
Or trade off every couple measures or whatever. So it evolved like that. I obviously wrote my half, he wrote his half, and you put them together and the two styles seem to work pretty well together, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the leads were really well put together on this album. It wasn't that just Gary Holt dive bombing stuff like you're talking
Right.
about. I mean, you guys really, I could tell you put a lot into the leads, you know. No
Thank you.
disrespect to Gary Holt. I mean, I know he's a
Gary Holt is
legend.
great.
Yeah. But
So, Cancerous Winds might be the bleakest track on the record. Was it a metaphor for war, environmental collapse, or something all different?
oh, we'll tell you exactly how that one came about. When we were out with Macabre, we are driving through Indiana, and there's giant windmills stretching as far as the eye can see. And our president believes that they cause cancer and kill birds and all this. So I don't know. I just mentioned something about it, and a couple days later, Mark's like, "Hey, man, he had completely composed the track with the music, he wrote the lyrics, the vocals, and everything, and
Cancerous wins. Okay.
yeah, Cancerous Winds. Yeah,
There's a couple tracks on this record that, in a metaphorical sort of way, they address some societal issues, some social things,
yeah,
in 90s death metal fashion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Worthless Lives is a
Worthless
good.
Lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I figured there's not enough death metal songs about windmills.
No, it really isn't. I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't.
It might be the only one.
It might
Yeah.
be. Yeah, I don't know. You'd think like maybe Pinnacle from Holland would have one, but
I thought it was like the old school days where you opened up the bar and all the cigarette smoke kept pouring out at you, and you're like, "Oh my God!"
We're like Pestilence. They're from Holland, right? I think they could have
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. They
could
are.
have nabbed that. Yeah, they could have nabbed the windmill market. You know, they got them. So,
Yeah, yeah,
Should revisit that. Maybe on their new album they got something about windmills.
right.
I
Good.
I jumped when Martin left, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, they could have been writing all their albums about windmills. I wouldn't know. So.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
Mhm.
I'm not far behind you on that.
I totally went to Asphyx. I was like,
Yeah,
wherever
yeah,
Martin goes, I'm going.
right.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that guy's awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite death metal
Totally.
vocalists.
So you were talking about Worthless Lives. That one has absolutely ripping solos and harmonized sections that are so fast. When you're writing riffs like that, are they born at full speed, or do you have to kind of start and then take them up the tempo?
I could probably do a better job of working my way up to things, but it usually starts with the concept like, oh, this part should be fast.
Yeah,
And actually I'll write a lot around programmed drums, or I'll jam with Gary if Gary's around.
mhm.
But it'll start with, oh, this part needs to be 210 BPM, and then I'll write the riff to that.
Mm.
And eventually I'll be able to play it correctly that fast, but the speed comes first if it's a fast part.
Yeah,
God, I'd end up hurting myself that fast.
Yeah, don't try it at home.
yeah. We have a couple of numbers that are wrist twisters for sure.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
We talk a little bit about Prophecy. It's one of those atmospheres tracks that it really builds before the vocals even hit. Was that kind of a
Yeah.
deliberate to kind of build that mood before diving in?
So when John brought that song to the band, the beginning of the song was just that riff for a while, that
Mhm.
opening riff. And
Yeah.
when we started recording it for real, Tommy had put this long, like kind of Alex Skolnick-ish guitar solo over that entire section,
Yeah.
which was not the original idea at all.
Right.
But we heard it was like, that's actually really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was a nice surprise in the recording process.
And then as far as like when the lyrics come in, that was just my instinct to come in there. That's generally how the vocals happen. As Mark will send me the music, and then I'll write the lyrics. For the most part, Mark writes some lyrics, and Gary's written some lyrics.
Here's chimed in.
Yeah, but yeah, and then like I'll do the vocal patterns, how I think it's gonna fit, I guess, and then we work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people who sing extremely, they have to do like a tea or a ritual beforehand. Do you have to do anything like that? Like
Uh-huh.
Mariah?
I eat a can of cold ravioli.
All right.
Real. That coats your vocal cords. And yeah, and that way I can growl.
That's great.
Yeah.
Who knew? Chef Boyardee and death
Death
metal.
Boyardee and death metal, man. They're a
And it's economical too, you know.
combination, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
combination.
Shit,
How
that might
about
be endorsement.
Yeah, right.
who came up with drown them in their blood? That's almost like a Cannibal Corpse kind of title there, you know, like
Yeah, that's me. That one on our first record, we had a song called Leave Nothing Here Alive. And this is kind of lyrically the part two of that. Um, Drown them in their blood. It's about these guys going deep into enemy territory and taking out their enemies. Yeah. So that and the first line is from the still black water they rise. I had the image of Pete Commando Sandoval coming up out of the swamp, camouflage on.
Was that the
Ah.
for Formulas Fatal to the Flesh? Was it
Yeah,
that one?
yeah.
With the
Like
leaves
the
on it?
back picture, yeah.
Oh man.
He's wearing radar scattering camouflage.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
good
awesome.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you about prophecy. Was it pertaining to a particular prophecy? And do you think there are still prophecies today?
Well, that is that one I wrote the lyrics about. So in 1978, a movie came out called Prophecy, and it was directed by a guy named John Frankenheimer, who's most famous for doing the original Manchurian Candidate.
Oh.
Yeah. Um, but he made this movie. It was his version of a horror film, I suppose. And the plot is there's evil developers, loggers on this Native American land, and they're poisoning um, the land, which causes mutations in the animals. And one of them is a mutated grizzly bear who basically looks like a giant grizzly, like turned inside out.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my God.
But yeah, so yeah, this they believe that the Native Americans believe that this beast came to avenge them, and it was prophesied by elders or whatever in the tribe.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, that's got one of the best death scenes ever involving a preteen, a sleeping bag, and a boulder.
Oh,
So
We'll
yeah,
have to add that to our list. Yeah, for
yeah,
viewing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Seriously, the movie's called Prophecy. It's got Talia Shire is in it from Rocky, Adrian.
Oh, Adrian. Okay. Yeah.
And then Armand Desante is in it. I don't know if you remember him,
Hmm.
80s actor. Um, yeah, it's a really good movie.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, nothing's better the boulder to the head than putting an exclamation point on things.
Oh, it's hilarious. The bear picks up this kid that's in a sleeping bag and throws him into the boulder. And when the sleeping bag hits the boulder, a bunch of feathers just explode out of the sleeping
Oh
bag.
my gosh.
And it's just, I don't know, it's hilarious.
I always liked in Harry Potter how the prophecies are all like on a shelf and bottled up and
Bottled up, yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, all right, so the collaboration with Cam Lee, how did that come about for like Captured and Consumed?
Yeah.
Oh.
We've played a couple of shows with Massacre, and Cam likes our band, and he agreed to do some of the vocals, and yeah, it turned out really good. He's probably my biggest influence from back in the day as far as death metal vocalists. I
Yeah.
used to warm up to like From Beyond. I would
Yeah.
play Corpse Grinder, you know. So I'm driving to practice one day, and I think I told you this. I'm practicing. I've got corpse grinder on. I'm just I'm yelling,
Yeah.
and I look over and there's like this old couple, like 75, 80 years old, just like horrified looking at me, like what? Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Cam was great though. Like we got to
Yeah,
know him a little bit. We played with him twice since he got the band back together, and we wouldn't have thought to ask him. He actually wrote us and was like, "Hey, would it be cool if I did a guest spot on a song?" And we were like,
yeah,
Oh,
"Yes."
that's awesome.
that'd be
That's
really
really
cool. Yeah,
Yeah, and he didn't. It's not even like he did a line or something. He did half the song. It's
yeah,
a
That's cool.
they're trading off verses. It turned out great. So
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
my earliest memory of Cam Lee is this friend of mine was a complete death metal snob, and I played him the album, and he said, "Get that fucking pink cover out of here." And I was like,
God.
"What the hell difference does that make?" But
No, that cover's
there were
great.
people that were like ready to riot because there was a pink album cover. I was just like,
Yeah,
yeah.
"Who
I don't think
cares?"
Cam likes it that much either.
Oh,
yeah. He
really?
does
So
not.
it's
Yeah,
the other
but I
people
love it.
also
I
said
mean,
that.
it's Ed Repka, so
Yeah, it's rap.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
classic, man. You
I
can't.
mean,
Classic
it never
Repka.
even would have occurred to me because I was just so into the music. I was just like, who gives a fuck about that? It's a pink cover.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
effeminate,
Wow.
please.
Great.
Come on. But I guess some people think so. Whatever.
Yeah.
They're lost.
Yeah.
So for that particular capture and consume, was it like hunting, a National Geographic special, or like straight up cannibalism?
Well, the story behind that one.
We know.
Okay, this is a great story. So there was a thing in World War II called the Chichijima incident. So President George W. Bush, the elder, was the youngest fighter pilot in World War II. So he was in the Pacific and he used to fly sorties and bomb this one Japanese island, this like communication center and headquarters. They would like every day they would strafe and bomb this place. And one day, I think it was I don't know, 8 planes went out and they all got shot down.
Okay.
Bush managed to fly his plane out into the water and was rescued later by a submarine. The rest of the pilots were captured by the Japanese and tortured and cannibalized.
Oh my.
The Japanese ate them.
Oh wow.
That's a
And
whole new kind of sushi.
well, President Bush did not know about this until the year 2000. It was classified. And yeah, he never knew that that's how they died.
Wow.
He just thought they had been shot down. But yeah, I believe the commander of that Japanese unit was executed for that. War
Wow.
crimes.
Okay. So we play a game on the show, and the game is called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. So the way it works is I have 5 band names in front of me. One of them is not real. So I'm going to see if you guys can guess which one of these is a fake band name. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'll run through them, and you guys just keep guessing until either you get it right or we run out of bands. So, okay. Iron Walrus, Iron Dagger, Iron Goliath, Iron Spider, and Iron Buddha. One of those is not real.
I'm gonna go with the walrus.
Yeah.
Could go either way though.
Yeah, maybe I'll go with Iron Buddha.
Okay. Iron Walrus is real. They're doom metal from Germany. They have 4 albums.
Wow.
And their picture on Metal Archives, they have these like ski masks with like walrus teeth. It's terrible.
Oh,
Terrible.
yeah.
Iron Buddha is real. I actually think that's a pretty cool name. They're Stoner Rock. It's kind of a cool Stoner Rock name.
Yeah, it is kind of a cool name, man.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Actually.
So that leaves Iron Dagger, Iron Goliath, and Iron Spider.
What do you think?
Iron Spider.
I thought they were fake too, but they're actually from Australia and they're Doom.
I mean,
They've got,
yeah, these are all good Doom names, right?
yeah, they've got, what does that say? 4 4
EPs.
EPs and 1 LP. That's right. Okay. Yeah. No, the one I made up is Iron Dagger. That's not real.
Oh, okay.
That's like the best name on that list, man.
That's it always goes that way. Like I've had this discussion. Like one band actually said that I should have patches made for the band names I make up because that would be like the
Right.
ultimate hipster thing to do. Be like, oh, who's Pilsner
Just
Wolf?
do a battle vest with those bands.
Yeah. Who's Pilsner Wolf? You don't need to know.
Poser Wolf. That's a good one.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Poser Wolf.
Pilsner Wolf.
Put
Yeah.
notes on that one.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I would not only buy that, I would drink that. Like if there was a beer called
Yeah.
Pilsner Wolf, I would be like, I'll take that. Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
yeah. Anyway,
So your record release show is coming up June 27th. Have you started putting together the set list yet?
We have finished putting together the set list.
Yeah, we just about a week ago put it together. It's gonna pretty much be the whole new record and then maybe a couple from the second one.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nice thing about death metal, especially our style of it, is that the songs aren't that long, so we could fit. We're playing the majority of the new record, I think, and then there's some older stuff thrown in there, just to get some classics in there too. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
Do you guys ever throw any covers in?
We haven't done any covers live in a long time.
Right. We have before. I mean, we covered Evil Dead once or twice. And covered Into the Acid
Oh, by Cancer.
by
Yeah,
Cancer.
that's the last one I remember.
That's cool.
And then on this record, we're covering the Celtic Frost
Jewel Throne.
Jewel Throne. Yeah.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah, that's the bonus track on the CD.
That's great. Yeah.
So for playing live, do you have a favorite song right now that just really like gets everybody riled up or feels really good to play?
Iceman. People seem to like that
Yeah,
one.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's we've been playing some of the new songs live for a while just because it took us a while to get this record done. So Iceman's been in the live set for about a year and that goes over well. We have a song from the last record called Rogue Weapon that seems to get people going.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's any of the songs more than any of the other ones. We seem to just get a pretty good response from people lately, which is great.
Yeah.
Now, do you have recording guitars and live guitars, or is it usually the same one or whatever you feel like picking?
I own one guitar for this band.
It's great.
I have one guitar for this band, one guitar for the other band for Black Sites, and then I have another one that I just kind of goof around on at home, and that's pretty much it.
There are people with walls of them.
Yeah. Some people can't stop buying them. Yeah.
It's a lot of strings to change, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's very time consuming.
Yeah. I don't know if you're gonna know this band, but a friend of mine, we always argue about there are two Devastations. There's one from Texas and there's one from Chicago. I love the one from Chicago. I don't even think it's close. He loves the one from Texas, and we always argue about it. And I'm like, the Texas Devastation has talky vocals. They suck. But
Yeah.
the Devastation from Chicago is awesome. I don't know why
Yeah,
they didn't.
I know the drummer, Pat Buckley. He's
Okay,
yeah. He and I, it's funny, we have in the 80s, we both got the same tattoo. Well, I mean, we didn't know each other or anything. Along with what's that dude from Master? Paul
Speckman.
Paul Speckman, yeah. We all have this same tattoo of a skull with a mohawk. And
awesome.
yeah, it's just weird. None of us knew each other. We all got the same tattoo in different places, but like in the 80s.
I will say, to add to what you said, agreed about the vocals, but Texas Devastation, that record Idolatry is fantastic.
He stopped talking for that one, I think, didn't he? It's like a later one.
He's more shouting on that one, yeah.
Yeah. It's
like
the early stuff when he talks. He always loses me for the talky vocals, So.
Yeah, no, he got it together by then. That's a Morrisound record, I think.
Yeah.
So that falls into the realm of stuff we're into, and that's a Bear Mace influence.
Well, Mr. Burns is not going to put up with talky vocals. He's going to be like, no.
Right. He'll shut that down.
Exactly.
Right.
So for your show, you've got Inoculation and Beyond Death on the bill. Did you handpick them based on prior connections, or are they newer bands you've decided to showcase?
Well, we know John from Beyond Death. we've played at shows with him before, and yeah, they're awesome. So we asked them, and they're right away ready to jump on. And then inoculation was just, this heavy ass band. We're like, yeah, man, come on, jump on the bill. They're from Cleveland, I believe.
And very topical.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Very
Yeah.
topical, yes.
But inoculation, we did not know them from before. We just kind of
Right. We're
introduced to them by way of setting up this show. But they're awesome. I'm very looking forward to playing with them.
Yeah.
We're always confused by when you went to get your COVID shot at the pharmacy. It always seemed like nobody knew what they were doing. I actually went there and the one lady was like, "Where's the cotton balls?" I'm like, "Oh my God, is it her first day?"
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
don't
"Just
want
give it to me. I'll
jabbing
do it myself."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
one of you asked you if you were Indian.
Yeah, whatever.
I
Huh.
was like,
Yeah.
okay,
That's weird.
weirdness.
So just have to ask you, because you're Chicago based, did either of you guys get to see Trouble back in the day?
Yeah, we actually saw Trouble
Yeah.
at Nightcaps a few years ago. Both of us were at the show, and it was
It was when they first reunited
and it
from
was
one of the
like,
many times they broke up.
yeah,
But there's
and
like
it was
Right.
4 of the 5 original, because it was
Yeah. they didn't have Ron, but they had
yeah,
Eric.
but they had right, and then yeah, Rick and Bruce Franklin, and
Yeah,
our
yeah.
drummer Gary is the current drummer for Trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
Ron on the show, and he was telling us about how they were able to they had to get like a millennial to get access to Eric's hard drive so they could get the new
Oh.
album material, because that's where it was saved, because none of the
Oh,
old geezers could figure it
Oh,
out.
from Legions of
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hysterical. Yeah,
Yeah. That record turned out great though.
it
Yeah.
did.
The last
It
Skull
did.
record.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We'll be going to Maryland Doomfest too.
So we'll get to see
yeah.
Ron, and yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So that'll be great.
Yeah, Ron Holzer's
Carl.
cool.
Carl had a whole bunch of COC stories. Did you know that there is a
Oh.
version? There is a version of. I'll make sure I get it right.
That's right. Carl's doing the vocals. Right?
Carl
Yeah.
said that he recorded. There's a version of Deliverance with him singing.
No way, really?
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me at all. I would love
Yeah.
to hear that.
I would like
They-
to hear
they-
that too.
Somehow it just got shelved and he just got kicked out. But like he was
Yeah.
going to sing on that full record. Yeah, so that would
No,
have been
I
great.
like
I would
that
have
on
loved it.
Blind. They just went like full 5-man metal band, and
Yeah.
that's a good record.
Yeah.
So if they ever do like a box set, maybe we'll get to hear it or something. You know. who
Yeah.
knows?
I would be very interested to hear that. For
Yeah.
my other band that I
Yeah.
sing in, the stuff Carl did on Blind is actually a pretty big influence for me.
So
I would
great.
sing
Yeah,
on
and
that.
and what was this other band?
Leadfoot.
Leadfoot. Leadfoot.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Leadfoot was
Yeah,
cool
I loved
too.
it. Yeah. Yeah,
So
Carl's a cool guy. Yeah.
what else is coming up on the horizon for Bear Mace? After the album release, are you going to be any touring, festivals, future material, or more of those great videos?
Another video would be fun.
Yeah, another video would be fun. Doing for Captured and Consumed.
Yeah.
Filming out in the backyard.
We got a couple other shows booked. One is in Chicago. One is not. That'll be announced later. I can't say what it is yet.
Okay.
We're working on a tour. Potentially East Coast, not sure yet. And beyond that, we're just going to see where things take us. You know,
Yeah.
everything that we've done has kind of been spontaneous and has been a surprise, at least to me. So
Yeah.
we'll see where it takes us. And after that, eventually there will be more material. Always.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, I love this album. It's like almost every song is like based on some real story, or it's like
Yeah.
some horrible story, but a real story.
Well, yeah, most of the lyrics on that record are from a darker place for sure.
You don't want to hear the happy stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
death
Oh,
metal.
nobody.
Yeah.
Happy death metal.
We don't play life metal. Come on.
Chuffed about having a new kid does not sell death metal records. No.
Where
That's
where do you
true.
find the most muses from? Like books or documentaries or movies or all of the above?
All of the above, honestly. Like Charred Field of Slaughter, the title track. I got that from watching the Ken Burns Vietnam documentary, which is one of the most intense documentaries I've ever seen. And just that whole thing. my dad was in Vietnam and was in the 173rd Airborne Brigade that
Wow.
fought against the NVA, like pitched open battles, like that's described in the song.
I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yep.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, we
Well,
pulled
we
in from
hope to
everything.
lure you to Baltimore at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. We'd love to play it like Death Fest or something, but
That'd be great.
we'll see how that works out. Yeah, Baltimore. When I was in the Army, my last duty assignment was at Fort Meade in
Okay.
Odenton, Maryland. And I used to go to Hammerjacks all the time. That was
Oh, yeah.
the music club that I would frequent. Is the Hammerjacks still around?
Not the original
Yeah,
one.
they made like a
Okay.
Starbucksy one, you know.
It's not the same.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
Because
mean?
the old one was like under an underpass. It was like, you know, it was like
Yeah.
it was just this little it was a great place.
The sounds of decay!
Okay. Sounds of Decay 1 is the new EP from Namebearer, Industries of the Fading Sun. Now, this might sound kind of poser-esque, but I love me an indecipherable death metal logo. Crisscross bones, deformed talons, and possibly twisted tree roots. It's like sitting down in a restaurant and the server brings you chips and salsa before you even order. It's like, I like this place already, I think. I want a logo that looks like a map of purgatorial catacombs drawn by a watchmaker with bad eyesight. One of life's greatest disappointments, though, is discovering a band with an uber cool, impossible logo, and then they end up sounding like corpse painted toddlers banging on Home Depot buckets in their backyard.
Luckily, nothing could be further from the truth with the black metal duo Namebearer. Hailing from Maine, a U.S. state better known for lobster rolls than Lucifer's Playlist, the combo of Brian Tennyson on guitar, bass, and vocals, and Braden Hayter on drums and synth offer up 5 tracks written in English and translated into Finnish. A very cool idea that gives the whole thing a bleak, frozen vibe.
Musically, this EP is about as far from lo-fi caverncore as one can get. The rhythm and guitar tones are rich and warm without cakes of reverb getting in the way of the sonics, and there's quite a bit of guitar noodling. Tennyson conjuring all matter of hooky wails and fills. Hayter dials in a glorious drum sound, whether he's blasting his snare to bits or conjuring a tantrum of double bass punishment. But it's the vocals that seem to be the most impressive aspect of this band, with both members offering up witchy rasps, soaring operatic clean passages, and heady spoken bits to marvelous effect. Let's hear a little. This is Black Vein Atom Drum.
The title track wastes no time. Hayter pumping out doomy mid-pace to kick things off, bolstered by heavy synths and gnarly screams, giving way to the spoken word segment that creates a post-metal mood. As the song progresses into full speed, the crisscrossing vocals are unleashed, offering up a swooning, interlaced, clean melodies and harsh rasps. The song we just played, the 6+ minute epic Black Vein Atom Drum, continues to impress, alternating mid-pace progressions up Golgotha with fits of ludicrous speed until around the 1-minute mark when those chill bump-inducing vocals begin to work their dark magic once again. Sounding marvelous over Tennyson's restless guitarist expressions, the pace changes again about halfway through the track in a pounding, screaming, everything but the kitchen sink attack that will have you swaying like a sequoia in a thunderstorm. The experimentation with synths and unexpected clean guitar passages keep us guessing, but it's those vocals that keep me coming back for more.
Harsh and icy, yet complex and engaging, the men of Namebearer have struck upon something very special here. The album is only available as a digital download at this point, but here's hoping these dudes can find a pressing plant amongst the caribou and get this nifty album a proper issue. And gents, stamp that logo on a hoodie and I will Venmo you faster than Abbott can fall off a stage. Just saying. Let's close it out with Industries of the Fading Sun. Okay, Sounds of Decay 2 is the new album from Anthropomorphia, devoid of light. With age comes a certain perspective. It doesn't mean you're any less interesting, but as we advance in years, we start to see the big picture more clearly. Stop rolling cigarettes up in your sleeve. Let the old lady get on the elevator first. Tip the restroom attendant. Let the hacky sack hit the ground.
The Dutch four-piece Antropomorphia should be well known by any fan of this show. The OG death metal collective have come a long way since their original formation back in the late 80s. Over the years, with 5 full-length records, most of which were released on the renowned Metal Blade label, the band became known for crunchy, smutty death metal with songs titles like Masturbate, Gospel of Perversion, and Bestial Decadence.
Released earlier this month on the German label Testimony Records, Devoid of Light is their 6th album, 9 songs mostly in the 4 to 5 minute range. The band is still dishing out the sonic punishment that they're known for, though this time they're dialing back on the porn-adjusted titling. Even the artwork leans more skulls and nails than tits and ass. I guess you can only watch so much porn. Or can you? Let's hear a little This Is Funeral Throne.
For evidence that these duchies can still bring the heavy, look no further than the title track, with its twisting leads and Marco Stubbs' punishing percussion. The guitar tandem of Joss Van den Brand and Ferry Damon are as deadly as ever, trading licks and epic leads over a decidedly black metal sounding main riff. Cancerous Bane vaults from the speakers, blasting percussion from the very first note. The heavy horse drumming style of Stubbs shines bright on this one. Damon howling gruffly, "Father, rain ash and blood on me. I drink of hell to cleanse the well of treachery." The little percussive stops and starts, along with some hooky tremolo picking, make this one a particular album highlight.
They may have scaled back on the skin. By the way, get a load of the album cover for their debut, Pure. It's worth seeing. Anyway, they may have scaled back on the skin, but the brutality and sweeping sonics have never sounded better. Fans of black and death metal in the vein of Necrophobic or Dissection should feel right at home, shaking their crusty manes to this one. So let's close it out with Devoid of Light. Okay, Sounds of Decay 3.
This is A Flock Named Murder with Incendiary Sanctum. A Flock Named Murder might at first glance seem like an odd name for a band that so skillfully blends black metal's weird in the woods vibe, the layered weight of doom, the technical brutality of death metal, and the reflective atmosphere of post-metal. Their moniker might sound at first like a house band for a goth ornithology club. Type A Flock into the Google machine and it helpfully suggests, of seagulls? No, Google, sit down and chew your gum. One glance at the album cover for Incendiary Sanctum, a towering, entrail glowing skeleton ghoul pouring time from an hourglass into a bubbling cauldron, splashing molten orange all over panicked humans like Satan's crockpot. And it's obvious you're not dealing with New Wave. These are not birds of a feather, but dig a little deeper and the name clicks into place. A group of crows is called a murder because their collective calling is pure chaos and unease, which is also a pretty decent description of these four epic tracks laid down by the Ontario-based trio. Each one builds a sprawling sonic cathedral and then burns it down, only to rebuild it with the same bricks, just at weirder angles. Clocking in at 14 to 18 minutes each, it's like War and Peace with blast beats and a corpse paint editor's note. And like Tolstoy's epic, where the themes are war, love, loss, and the human condition. Except here, the ideas swirl around the concepts that worship, whether of gods, idols, or history, can justify atrocities.
Chapter 1, Gardens of Embers, begins how else with the crackling sound of fire. Carnivorous flames licking and devouring in slow, deliberate gulps. Ryan Muller's solitary guitar creeps in languid at first, getting its own licks in. A cymbal crashes, stirring something in the dark, and soon the riffs begin to crunch forward, rising from a death knell pace. Drummer and brother Cam Mueller starts with doom-heavy thuds before anxiety tightens its grip and the blast beats kick in like a panic attack translated into percussion. Mike Wandy's vocals finally emerge, shaking off the death shroud like a rasp, like an old gas furnace roaring to life. First the hiss of ignition, then the full flame. Midway through, Ryan's tremolo picking becomes a trembling finger pointing into the void, full of despair. At other times, he pulls out a gloomy refrain full of burden. Tempo shifts flow in and out like mood swings, agitated, restrained, and back again. But unlike some bands whose quiet parts feel like they loaned the studio to Steely Dan or a wistful bard, a flock named Murder never softens into pastels. Their palette stays locked in shades of pitch, charcoal, and storm cloud gray, always bleak and always burning. Let's play a clip. This is Gardens of Embers.
Chapter 2, Pierced Flesh Catharsis, kicks off with Ryan Muller's riff so abrasively crunchy. I mean, imagining opening a jar of peanut butter and they forgot the butter. Those jagged riffs quickly settle into an off-kilter groove, like an electric mixer running a little too fast. Cam Muller's drumming veers from spectral pop and roll to snare hits so rapid it's like the drum kit is hyperventilating. Later, he throws in some rimshot abuse, clonks, clangs, and offbeat strikes that turn the rhythm section into a full-blown riot. Ryan's guitar flows in unexpected directions, sometimes like a burbling brook, sometimes an undercurrent. Meanwhile, Wendy's bass pulls low and thick, a saltwater taffy being stretched too far and threatening to snap. There's a brief pause in the deluge, a moment of guitar strums that offer no comfort, while Cam's drums slow to a grim march. It builds a disjointed tango, each instrument pulling its own direction, like dancers arguing mid-spin. Later, a guitar riff returns like a half-remembered refrain, haunting in its familiarity, while the drums lapse into blast beat tantrums.
Wandy's vocals are pure fury, a gnarled, pissed-off wizard realizing his potions have been sabotaged, spitting curses from behind a cloud of drumfire. The whole band layers up into something dense and ancient, like sedimentary rocks stacked by centuries of sonic pressure. The final minute is pure mood, a lingering feedback hum, like a flat line, as church bells toll from the ruins. It's a funeral for faith echoing from a crumbled altar. Chapter 3, The Eulogy Fields, which I can only assume is the grim spiritual sequel to The Killing Fields, opens like a seance gone off the rails. The drums immediately roll from menacing to manic, like a poltergeist got hold of the sticks and he's surging with unfinished business. The guitar wanders in a haze, oscillating, shimmering, and cycling through a pattern like a ghost retracing the same cursed path.
The vocals, It's like they're rasped out of a throat locked in rigor mortis, dry, cracked, and absolutely a final scream. Twice the chaos pauses for eerie interludes. Clean strums meet cymbal burst while Cam taps at the drums like a curious cat lapping at a saucer of milk, delicate but never fully at ease. The second break builds slower, a lone guitar trying to soothe itself with a lullaby but never finding solace. Eventually, it spirals into a whine of desperation, a distress signal. A moment worth rewinding, a staccato flurry of guitar lands. Yes, that's the sound. Riding over popping percussion and a pulse you wish would keep on going, but it doesn't. Instead, a vocal snarl erupts like an unburied grudge, followed by a riff bursting out of the ground like a zombie with unfinished business and blast beats chasing it like hellhounds at full sprint. The final minute fades to pure atmosphere, a single sustained tone dissolving into a gust of wind like a storm building in a forgotten graveyard.
Chapter 4, To Drown in Obsidian Tides. Whew, we made it. If you've hung in this long, go ahead and pull up a hammock, steep some tea, and read the leaves, because this beast clocks in at a casual 17 plus minutes, the second longest track on the album. The bass takes center stage here, dripping notes like stilling blood, low and ominous. The vocals come in decayed and rusted over, like a centuries-old hinge groaning and screeching to life, and there's no WD-40. The drums play a dangerous game of stop, drop, and roll, and then erupt into flames anyway. The first guitar hook is so sharp, it'll snag you in some involuntary air guitar. A stretch of loose, slightly off-kilter guitar ramps up the paranoia, like a soundtrack to realizing someone's watching you through the blinds. Drum dapples scatter, smack around, gather traction in a groove, and then splinter again like cracked ice. Midway, we get a whooshing solo packed with high-pitched squeals and enough noodling to rival a Chef Boyardee factory. The bass flickers and burps like it's bubbling in a molten tar, while the guitar sings a second, more mournful melody, like sunlight briefly catching on a grave marker before a cloud cover returns.
Then it all speeds up. Machine gun drumming, shivering panic room guitars, and a vocal delivery like a T-Rex howling in rage because his arms are too short to punch the sky. There's a jazzy detour, clubby cymbal rolls, and drums that sway like a belly dancer's hips before one last eerie close. Tolling church bells return. A lone rabbit bolts ahead of the gathering gloom, and if you squint into the shadows, you'll spot a guy with a cardboard sign that reads, "The end is near." Incendiary Sanctum is a funeral dirge for the divine, a blackened post-metal meditation on worship, memory, and the hollow silence that lingers after belief has burned to the ground. This is the soundtrack for when the idol crumbles and all that remains is ash, echo, and questions too heavy to lift. Probably not ideal for cleaning the house, unless you're purging a haunted monastery, that is. But fans of Allagath, Cult of Luna, Runes of Beverast, and Immolation will gladly lose themselves in the sprawling, scorched earth sonic tapestry. Oh, and you might want to bring snacks. Let's play a clip. This is To Drown in Obsidian Tides.
We survived. MDF, space aliens, and trapezoidal toast.
Yeah, it was funny. We were trying to watch Unsolved Mysteries, and one was this dumb space alien thing where they were like, "There was a bright light over there. It's probably a weather
The
balloon."
other one was about the murdering of cows.
And mutilating them.
It's really weird.
Yeah, we didn't make it through that one either.
I think they're running out of ideas on Unsolved Mysteries.
This has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to Chris and Mark from Bear Mace for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme by Gustav Jord of Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone of Lair of the Minotaur. Sounds of Decay bands, check them out. Namebearer, A Flock Named Murder, and Antropomorphia. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
Today's forecast cloudy with a chance of contact.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.